A Boy's Song by James Hogg, 1770 to 1835. Where the pools are bright and deep, where the grey trout lies asleep, up the river and over the lea, that's the way for Billy and me. Where the blackbird sings the latest, where the hawthorn blooms the sweetest, where the nestlings chirp and flee, that's the way for Billy and me. Where the mowers mow the cleanest, where the hay lies thick and greenest, there to track the homeward bee, that's the way for Billy and me. Where the hazel bank is steepest, where the shadow falls the deepest, where the clustering nuts fall free, that's the way for Billy and me. Why the boy should drive away little sweet maidens from the play, or love to banter and fight so well, that's the thing I could never tell. But this I know, I love to play through the meadow, among the hay, up the water and over the lea, that's the way for Billy and me. Okay, this is a poem by James Hogg. He was a Scot, he was Scottish, he came from Selkirkshire. He was largely uneducated. I think he taught himself to read. Later he became a novelist and a journalist, and he was a friend of Sir Walter Scott, and wrote an unofficial biography of him. So what's this poem about? This poem is about children, and I think it's about nature. And there are this is a poem about two boys who are running around doing their thing, investigating in nature, eating the nuts, rolling down the banks, doing all sorts of things, going here and there. And this poem has the strength, the vibrancy of youth. And he's always with his friend, so it's got a theme of friendship as well. Where the pools are bright and deep, okay, pools of water, they're bright and deep, where the grey trout lies asleep, so there's a grey trout asleep in this, up the river and over the lea, that's the way for Billy and me. So with his friend Billy, he goes to where they're bright pools, where the trout are asleep. He goes up the river, he follows the river up the mountain, and over the lea. The lea is the field. So yeah, over the hills and far up the river and over the fields. That's where he goes with his friend. Where the blackbird sings the latest. I think where the blackbird is singing his latest news, or perhaps where the very last place in the day before the blackbird stops singing. Where the hawthorn blooms the sweetest, the hawthorn tree. It's a small tree, it has white flowers, it could bloom very beautifully. Where the nestlings chirp, 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 and flee. Nestlings, these are the baby birds in their nest. That's the way for Billy and me. So he and Billy, they go to all of these places where the blackbirds sing, looking at the nestlings, yeah, and they flee the nest, they run away from the nest, where the hawthorn is blooming, these beautiful places in nature. Two kids exploring nature, exploring the world around them. Where the mowers mow the cleanest. So the mowers, these are people who cut the grass, where they cut the cleanest, they cut the best. Where the hay lies thick and greenest. So I think after the mowers have been, then the hay, the stalks are there, lying out to dry. Yeah, and this is a place where they like to go. There to track the homeward bee, so they like to run after the bees, yeah, to find out where they go. That's the way for Billy and me. So they're full of life, exploring everything, into everything in nature. Where the hazel bank is steepest. Hazel is a type of tree, a hazelnut, and a bank, an incline. So where the incline is very steep, where the shadow falls the deepest, so the darkest place, where the clustering nuts fall free, so where the nuts fall off the trees and they eat them, that's the way for Billy and me. That's where Billy and I will go. Why the boys should drive away little sweet maidens from the play. So why little boys won't let the little girls play with them, or why they love to argue, to banter and to fight, why the little boys love to fight. That's the thing I could never tell. So I didn't know why this happened, why the girls couldn't play with them, and why the boys loved to insult each other, to banter and fight. But this I know. I love to play. Through the meadow, among the hay, up the water and over the lea. That's the way for Billy and me. So he loves to play in all these places, through the meadow, in the hay, up the river, over the field. Yeah, this poem is full of the life of two little boys looking at nature, exploring everything, and the wonders of nature as well. So, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. A Boy's Song by James Hogg.